Okay, so today we're going to dig into some source material about the history and maybe the current stress points of this huge global digital system.
Right, the one we're sort of collectively calling the engine for this discussion.
Exactly. And for a good while, this engine thing, it was actually pretty captivating.
Oh, definitely. It felt like this digital heartbeat promising, connection, knowledge, progress even.
And the big draw initially was how it just seemed to get us. It reflected our needs back with this uncanny precision.
Yeah, almost like it knew the answer before you even fully formed the question in your head.
That kind of hyper convenience. Well, it built loyalty fast, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it really did.
Yeah.
And it's crucial to understand the mechanism behind that explosive start.
The flywheel idea.
Exactly, the flywheel. Our sources call it that. It's like this perfect decelerating circle. More convenience pulled in more users. And every single one of those users fed it more data, which just made the system stronger, smarter, faster.
Right. And that data, our digital footprints, that was the fuel, wasn't it?
Absolutely the fuel. Our clicks, our searches, our shares, that became the currency.
And it wasn't just small change, this funded, massive, almost unimaginable creation.
We're talking self-driving cars, truly conversational AI, even projects aiming to, extend human life itself.
Yeah, the sheer volume of that data currency is what made those specific huge leaps even possible.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. The turning point.
Go on.
That incredible success, that undeniable dominance you just described, it actually created the very forces that are now pushing back against it.
So the success sowed the seeds of its own problems.
Pretty much. The shadows we're seeing now, they're kind of a direct result of the engine's own blinding success.
Okay, let's unpack that resistance. Maybe start with the internal stuff. The source material calls it the binds.
Right, the binds. That's about the users themselves, this growing feeling, this sort of unease.
Like, did we share too much? Is this convenience costing us something we didn't realize?
Exactly. That feeling that the connection started to feel a bit like, well, binds. That the convenience had this unseen weight.
So people started pulling back, shielding their digital selves a bit more.
Yeah, consciously thinning the streams of data, as the sources put it. It wasn't necessarily a big dramatic exit for most.
More like a subtle privacy fatigue.
Precisely. That uncanny prediction went from magical to maybe a little unsettling.
And while that's happening internally, there's pressure from the outside too, right? External resistance.
Yeah, the barriers. This is where governments, regulators, the protectors of older realms, they start getting nervous.
Nervous about this huge borderless power that doesn't really fit neatly into national boxes.
You got it. So rules start appearing, new regulations. Think of them like fences going up around these data fields that used to seem limitless.
Things like global privacy laws, maybe antitrust actions demanding data portability.
Exactly, those kinds of things. And the engine, remember, it was built for frictionless expansion. Hit these new walls, these constraints designed to silo info or break up monopolies.
And its powerful hum starts to, stutter?
That's a good way to put it. It begins to stutter.
The sources frame this whole thing less as a story of villains or bad intentions.
Right, not malice.
And more as this inevitable consequence, like a reinforcing loop that just spun too fast, too far, without checks.
Yeah, the system's straining under the sheer weight of its own brilliance because it didn't really account for, human trust limits or regulatory patience.
So what's the core issue now, looking forward?
Scale versus constraint. Really, it boils down to that. The future's kind of hazy.
Does the engine need new fuel, new paths?
Maybe. New fuel, new paths. Perhaps ones that are, smaller but wiser, as one source suggests. Or it risks breaking apart because of these limits born from its own huge success.
It's interesting, those echoes of that early, amazing, unbridled connection. They're still there.
They are.
But there's this quiet question hanging in the air now, isn't there? What was the actual cost of knowing everything? Was that initial magic worth the binds it ended up weaving?
That's the central tension.
So, maybe a final thought for you listening. If this whole system, this engine, was always, in essence, just a reflection of us, our wants, our behaviors, then what does its current strain, these binds and barriers, tell you about the sustainability of our own desires? Our seemingly endless appetite for instant connection and total convenience.
Something to chew on.
Definitely something to explore on your own. We'll be back soon with another deep dive.